It's a way that I think swimming could become a little popular. So I call it S1 Grand Prix.
It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I'm very jealous of the grad students today who have ChatGPT.
You know, because like this is a start. So let's go with the start of how you started it.
This is episode 1 of the Aquatic Sports Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Sean. I'm here with Sid, and this is our very first podcast. A little bit about why we decided to start the podcast, or why we're recording right now, is we're using this as a test trial for our podcast going into the future. Sid literally just bought all this equipment this past weekend, and we've never used it before, and so we're testing it all out, testing out our systems, testing out how to upload them, and then hopefully we can get you guys more consistent content via podcasts.
And this podcast, I think we're going to be talking mostly about swim training, strength training, philosophy, deeper thoughts that go on in Sean and whoever the guest is going to be moving forward.
Yeah. Selfishly speaking, I think one of the reasons why I wanted to start the podcast is, one, the first one is I really hate like shallow conversations. And I noticed that when you do podcasts, like you can really get deep into deeper topics and really get to know someone. And you can speak to someone in a way that maybe it doesn't occur in regular conversations because it's more shallow and surface based. But when you do podcasts, you can really get interesting conversations out of people and learn from other people. Second reason is we really want to pursue the potential of our business. And in terms of our content ecosystem, we have the Instagram, we have the YouTube, we have the vlogs, we have TikTok kind of. But the one thing that we're missing is podcast audio format. And so this is kind of our way to make sure we're filling that gap, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Just another couple pointers. In the future, we're not going to be in our room. We're going to be in an actual like studio, our office. This was just we just had to set this up really quickly. And then also I will be in the future manning the camera and the audio in the back. So it's special that I'll be a guest and you guys won't see me.
Yeah, I guess we should drop the news that we've been kind of hiding for the past 9 months. This January, it's currently September. This January, we decided that we've outgrown the space that we're currently in. We sublease from another gym called Fit Brea, and we've been in there since 2019. And we have now outgrown the space, and it's time for us to get our own place. And so we've been working hard on securing a lease, which we did, and we actually signed a lease for another building May 1st, and it's currently September. And we are running into issues with permitting with the city. We've run into a ton of issues and just going back and forth, and it takes time for the architects to communicate with the city, and then the city has to communicate with me, and then going back and forth with the architects, and every single little thing takes, a couple of days to a couple of weeks to solve. We're on the final step. Basically, we're dealing with occupancy load, meaning how many people fit in the building, and the city is calculating our occupancy load as 66 people. And if you're in the state of California, for the type of occupancy we are, if you have more than 50 people, you have to have 3 bathrooms, and we have 2 bathrooms, and building a 3rd bathroom is not an option for us. And so we're having to figure out how can we reduce the occupancy load. With all that being said, the gym itself is about 3 times bigger than the one we're in right now, and there's an office, and we're also going to build a podcast studio in the office. So this, obviously, we're not in the studio now, but again, step 1, and then once we get there, we'll have a full-blown studio setup that we can use in the office.
I just kind of thought of this off the top of my head, but I think because this is episode 1, no one's going to have the chance to interview you. And so I think it'd be kind of interesting to see or hear your thoughts on like how you started the business and how far it's come so far and why you started and everything. And
Interesting.
like this is a start, so let's go with the start of how you started it.
Yeah. This is also like our 5th time trying to start this podcast. Okay, so
So tell us how ASP came to be. I think we should go all the way back to Koten before ASP was ASP,
wow,
and
the co-10
just
days.
give us history of our company.
So I graduated 2016 from college, started grad school in the fall of 2016. And then in 2017, I actually started a completely different fitness business that was not related to swimming at all. It was just for Gen Pop. And it was an atrocious failure of a business. I never got it. I think I had, yeah, I don't think I ever got a client.
Technically, you had a few.
I might have had, yeah, I had a few like free clients, but never had a client, but learned lots of lessons from that in 2017. And I tried it, and I think I did it for almost a year, and it didn't pan out to be anything. And then in 2018, I got a swim coaching position at Fast in Fullerton. And then while I was swim coaching, I started ASP on the side, kind of as a side business. I started off with just Simon Lamar. He was a U.S. national team member for open water. He was trying to make the U.S. Olympic team in 2020 because the open water trials were in 2019 at the time. And so to make sure we were preparing him well, we didn't want to leave any stones unturned. So, I started doing his strength and mobility training, and we just started it in the garage. And I started making content about it, putting him on my Instagram. And then from there, other people started reaching out. Hey, what are you doing? Can I work with you? And then it grew and grew and grew to a point where I had to leave the garage gym, my parents' garage, and then I reached out to Andrew Arredondo, the owner of Fit Brea, and that was October 2019. When I first started there, I probably had maybe like 5 to 10 athletes, and then it just kind of grew and grew and grew to a point where we are where we are at now. All right, we're back. Sorry, my son came in and
He was cussing.
he was cussing on the podcast. Again, episode 1, we're learning a lot. We're probably going to look back and listen to this podcast, and it's going to be so cringy that we can't even listen to it. Because that's how we feel when we watch the very first videos that we posted in our vlog. You watch it and you're like, oh my God.
I don't want to talk
Look
about
how
it.
far we've come. But I'm sure we'll say the same thing about this podcast, and that's okay. I think like a lot of people don't start content creation or whatever because they're afraid of what the first episode, what the first thing is going to be like, and they're so worried about judgment from other people. I think something that brought me a lot of peace is like understanding that like no one cares.
No one cares what you post. No one cares
We're
what you do.
probably going to get like 8 listens on this,
Yeah, and it's
and then
fine.
it'll grow over time. And what's important is that we get the reps in, and that we practice hosting, we practice uploading, we practice all the setup, and then over time it'll become something better.
I think you have to get the reps 1 to 100 in, no matter, regardless of what it looks or sounds or feels.
Just do it.
It doesn't matter. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
And then once you start getting from 100 to 200, it goes up a little bit. And then once you go from 200 to 300, it goes up a little bit again. But you just have to keep doing it until you're world class, I guess.
Yeah. I heard a stat that like only 90% of podcasts make it past 20 podcasts or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we just have to do 21 podcasts.
And then we'll be fine.
Then we quit. Yeah, but going back to the ASP story, I was solo until 2023. Solo as in I was a sole proprietor from a legal business standpoint, and then officially brought on Sid and Tebow. I believe in June of 2023. We split the ownership 3 ways, and so Sid does mostly the content creation plus coaching, and then Tebow is the director of operations, so he does everything on the back end. You guys have probably seen him in the vlogs. He's the French guy. And he does, the accounting, customer service, scheduling, website, basically everything I can't do, he does for me.
So from like a business standpoint, do you think the balance of 3 different people help push a business, or does it actually make things harder?
No, I think it helps. I gave Tebow this visual. So if you're audio only, think of a spider chart. So I think every business is a spider chart, and the skills of one person. So if a person is extremely talented, their point on the spider chart extends out far, right? And then if a person is not very skilled, then their point only goes out a little bit. And then basically it's like me, Tebow with different skill sets, Sid with different skill sets, and then you graph a spider chart, and the success of the business is predicated on the surface area of that spider chart. And basically, so you don't want people with the same skill sets as you, because then they would just plot on the same line on that spider chart. But if you have, like, I don't know how to code at all, but Tebow's a crazy coder. He coded an entire back office system that we use to track all of our business and performance KPIs. It basically has Asana or Slack in it. He basically made that, and we have like our own proprietary version of it. So basically, like, he has coding skills that are out here. I have some skills, I guess, and then Sid has video skills. So our spider chart covers a greater surface area because we're all skilled in different things. And I think the more people, when you bring people on that aren't as skilled, they actually bring the surface area down. Because like if we're out here and you bring someone that's not skilled here, it becomes like this V shape in the spider chart. So from an entrepreneur standpoint, I think it's super important to bring on people who are skilled and have skills that complement yours and not the same skills as you.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is we don't overlap too much in skills, right?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty well rounded. But the one thing that brings all of our skills together is swimming, which is why we're a swimming based company.
Yeah.
Because we have all one skill that we're really pretty good at, right?
Yeah.
And then skills outside of that make it a business. So I think it covers all the grounds in terms of like hopefully being a successful business.
Even the swimming events too. Like you were distance,
Actually, yeah,
I'm
that's
sprint, Tebow's breaststroke.
That's true.
We're just missing a backstroker.
Yeah, backstrokers are very rare in the swimming world, I feel like.
Yeah.
You don't get that. You don't get that many backstrokers.
Yeah.
Right.
What else did you want to talk about?
Well, again, like I said in the beginning, we're not going to really hear, because you're going to be interviewing people as the host moving forward.
Yeah.
So
Unless I do the solo episodes.
Yeah, that's true. So I think this podcast, and you guys are more than welcome to let us know on if it's on YouTube or whatever media we get this up on in the comments, what other stuff you want to hear about. But I think for the first episode, because people aren't going to really hear about your story or my story, I think we should just cover those bases and then go from there, you know? So I think another thing some people might be interested in is what's your background in, because you created this whole company based off of strength training for swimmers. So just give us a background on your nerdy side, I guess.
Like the educational side?
Education, your philosophies on strength, just everything of how you feel about, you know, like what's your background and how you got to being where you are as a coach?
Well, it started off with me bullying my two little brothers.
That's true. It's true.
No, but when I was 13, I have evidence of this. It's somewhere here. There's a notebook of Skylar, who's our third brother, who's 10 years younger than me. So when I was 13 and he was 3, I would have him run around the block, and I would time him. I would take measurements of his hands. I would take measurements of his wingspan, of his waist, everything. And then I would track it over time. Basically, I was doing ASP Performance Report before ASP Performance Report when I was 13 years old. And so training and like understanding physiology and basically I'm obsessed with improvement. And like every action that I do, I'm always like, is this going to help me or not help me? Especially when I was swimming, it was pretty bad. Like every food I ate, I was like, is this going to make me swim faster or not? So training was my whole life. And then when I was...
Wait, actually, I'm going to cut you right there because I just wanted to add that even when I was a kid, I mean, I know you talked about you measuring all that, but it was very extreme. He would take a picture of me and only in my boxers facing forward, sideways, and backwards. And he would take pictures of me every 6 months or something, right?
Yeah.
And then he would track how my body changed over time. And then if I'm not getting better, then I basically get my butt whooped, because I still remember you made me run the block because I wasn't getting better. And if I didn't cut a specific time, you get mad and you would make me go over and over again until I cut a specific time.
Let's just say my understanding of sports psychology has improved since then.
So I think even since then we saw a glimpse of Sean wants to obviously work with physiology. I don't know if that's the right word, or training people and then getting them better, or just
Yeah.
or just constantly improving or pursuing potential.
Yeah. I think I said it in one of the other vlogs, but like I wanted, when I came up with the slogan "Pursue Potential," I wanted it to be something that I believed in my bones, because I don't want to just say something that like I kind of half-ass believe. And so I guess I had this like pursue potential motto inside of me ever since I was a little kid. I just didn't know, I didn't put words to it. But anyways, when I was 15, I think I was 15, I went through a pretty big plateau in swimming, and I wasn't getting better at all. And I found strength training, and I started going to the gym by myself. The first place I took myself after getting my driver's license was the Meridian,
The gym.
at the gym at like 5:30 a.m. And then basically, I didn't know anything about strength training at the time, but started basically just with all the machines, back squatting 3 sets of 10 on everything, and I still improved. And I finally broke through my plateau. And that was the point. I was like, oh, this helps. This works. And I got obsessed with that, because I believe that humans perform actions that they get reinforced for. So if you do something and you get praised for it, or you find a positive feedback loop from it, then that person will continue to do that action. And for me, as a young, teenage boy who was struggling, finds strength training, does it, finds success, gets rewarded for it, and you do that feedback loop often enough, and you become obsessed with something.
And then college, you went to Arizona State.
Arizona State, yeah. It was not as fast back then as it is now. I was a 140, 200 freestyler, 4,600 freestyler, got recruited to ASU.
Yards.
Yards, you will not get recruited to ASU with those times now. And then studied exercise science, graduated. Or I guess I should talk about my internship.
What was your master's?
My master's was also exercise science.
Yeah.
And my senior year was Bob Bowman's first year, and he brought, MP and Chase and Allison and all those guys, and also brought on Keenan Robinson, who was a major figure in my development as a coach. And he was the strength coach for, the entire, or Bob's pro team. And I knew I had to do an internship in the spring semester. And so I just asked Keenan in September of 2015, hey, can I intern for you and watch the pros? And so basically I just loaded Michael's plates for a year. My job was to just load his plates and unload his plates. And I learned a lot from that process, and then did my master's, and the rest is I kind of talked about already.
What was I think your master's thesis is very interesting.
Yeah.
And I remember he tested it on me too. So he's been testing on me since I was a kid. But what was your? I don't remember the details. I just remember you testing us. So what was your master's thesis?
It was a correlation study between 50 freestyle performance and 1 rep max pull up, non-counter movement jump, or squat jump, depending on who you ask, and then back squat velocity at 50% body weight. So I took, I think the sample size was like 12 ASU men and then like 9 ASU women. Made everyone do a 50 freestyle with touch pads, and then also tested their 1 rep max weighted pull up, back squat velocity. So I took 50% of their body weight, had them squat it quickly, using a Tendo unit, recorded the velocity of their squat, and then also their non-counter movement jump. The only significant, I actually forget all the stat stuff. When I defended my thesis, I was fine defending, and then as soon as I got a statistics question, I froze.
You couldn't answer it.
I just stood there like,
You didn't even say a
no,
word.
I didn't
Just-
say anything because Aishida basically did all my stats for me. Who was a nerdy Asian guy. But yeah, I found the cool thing that I found was I think the sample size was too small, so it wasn't enough people to get conclusive data. But I did find that in that study specifically for the women, the 1 rep max pull up was highly correlated with swim performance.
But men was not.
Men was not as much. And I think why is because you can have a lot of super jack dudes who are also not skilled. So like when I think about the sample size that we had for ASU men,
Yeah.
and this is not a diss to Joe Warwick and Cole Miller, but they're strong guys.
Did you test those guys?
I think they were in the study.
Oh, okay.
But they're strong guys, but they're not that fast, right? Or they weren't that
that's
fast.
true. That's true.
And then I had some other guys who were faster, like Grant House in that study. And then you two, I think you were in the study.
Me and Ben
You
from
and
the
Ben.
distance group. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We went 22s in the 50 free. I remember.
yeah. But then when you get a girl that can do like a 1.3 pull up ratio, like the chance that they're also skilled is pretty high.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's what my study showed.
That's true. A lot of the girls we work with, the girls who can do pretty heavy pull-ups tend to be faster.
Yeah.
Is what we
Yeah.
found. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a point of diminishing returns to it though. But I think once so there's low hanging fruit, right? So you have, pull up ratio, jump, mobility, like you have a bunch of low hanging fruit. And then there's a point of diminishing returns. I think initially it's at about 1.5 body weight ratio. Excuse me. And then once you finish picking all the low hanging fruit, then you can go back to increasing the 1.5 to try to go to 1.8 or whatever. Because I think going from 1.5 to 1.8, it can be done, but it's too stressful to do it congruently with hard swim training.
And just for the listeners, 1.5 is referring to a pull-up ratio calculation that we use.
It's basically 50% of your body weight that you can pull.
Yeah, I like to think of it as 1.5 is 100% of your body weight plus an extra 50% of your body weight.
Yeah,
is what
it's
you can pull.
150%.
Yeah.
What's your ratio?
1 rep max
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
I did a 105-pound pull-up at like 90 kilos. So whatever that is.
200. Yeah, that's like 1.5 or
Yeah,
ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, but I think I'm much stronger than that right now. So
Yeah, so did that thesis. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I'm very jealous of the grad students today who have ChatGPT, because back in my day, I didn't have ChatGPT, and I actually had to go looking for studies the old-fashioned way. And then the people before me, they had to go to the library to go find studies.
you have to go ask a
at least I
librarian.
had Google. But yeah, I had to look up all my studies. And then I kind of got lucky. That same year, the ASCA clinic was in Anaheim. And so the entire staff at FAST went to the ASCA clinic. And then I met I forget his name. His first name is Jan, I believe, Jan, from University of Hawaii. He was the... what do you call the main guy at a journal? The main editor of the Journal of Swimming Research. I'm not sure if they exist anymore.
Head editor. I don't know.
Head editor, yeah, and he presented at ASCA, and then I went to go watch his talk, and then after the talk, I went to go introduce myself. Hey, my name's Sean. I just did this research or master's thesis. Can I publish it in your journal? He says yes. Send it over to me. And actually, the hardest part was taking a document that's I forget how many words. It was like 20, 30,000 words or something. And then I had to condense it to, I forget what it is, like 3,000 or 5,000. That was so hard
without ChatGPT.
Without ChatGPT and just like leave the important parts in there. But got it done and then published it in the Journal of Swimming Research. You can look it up. If you just Google Journal of Swimming Research, Sean Cow, it'll probably pop up.
Again, in the real podcast, I'm going to be checking in the back, so I don't need to check it while I'm doing the podcast. But
I think we should also talk about your background.
Okay, so for the viewers, I think it'll be kind of fun. So Sean's going to be hosting this podcast, right? So let's practice your interview skills and see if you can actually make something interesting when you're interviewing someone. Because I think it's important that the viewers are getting interesting content and you're not just asking boring questions.
Yeah.
So let us know if Sean did a good job of interviewing.
So you joined. Actually, we should go back to your swimming days.
My swimming
Um,
days, yeah.
so you swam until what year in high school?
When did I graduate high school?
Yeah.
2016. And
Yeah.
then I went to ASU. But me and Sean never overlapped. Sean's senior year, I was still senior in high school. And then when I went in as a freshman, that was Bob Bowman's second year as ASU, and I was his first recruiting class,
Yeah.
basically.
And what did you study?
I studied. I was a double major. I did global studies and then Japanese. It's just like
Yeah.
fill in, majors.
And you graduated early.
I did. I graduated in 3 years because in high school I had 26 credits of AP, and then I every semester I loaded up a lot of credits. I don't know why I did that. And then I was a straight A student. I mean, it was Arizona State, so it's not like it's terribly hard to get straight A's, but I did pretty well in school. But I actually never came from a strength and conditioning background,
Uh-huh.
even though I'm a coach, which I think is,
I actually don't think you need a educational background.
I don't think so, but I think right now I'm heavily biased. All my strength and conditioning training is heavily biased from Sean University, I think.
Yeah, so Sean University, the way we write all of our Instagram reels is we have a shared document, Google Doc, where I'll write the script and then Sid just basically chat GPTs the script and makes it into a pretty cool reel. And so a lot of Sid's, and he's been doing this for almost 3 years now.
Well, actually, because I started before I even started with ASP.
Yeah, you started.
Malfunction.
Let's see, this is why we did episode 1.
Thank God. Make sure it's like tight. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I would send you scripts when you were living in Japan, and then you would make reels when you were in Japan.
Yeah, I did live in Japan for 4 years of my life, from when I was 20 to basically 25 years old. So I guess like 4.5 years of my life I was in Japan, and I was helping Sean on the side of just making a couple reels a week. And then through that, I learned a lot, because when you recite the script 100 times and you listen to your own voice 100 times and it's only swim strength content, you end up memorizing all those facts. So when I'm editing, I don't know, external rotation stuff, I also get to learn everything about the shoulder and how you need you need a healthy external rotation in order to not injure yourself, right?
And you got to highlight all the muscles in the videos. This is where the infraspinatus is. This is where your teres minor is.
So I only know the select information that Sean has written into the scripts, but we've covered a lot of that. If you look back in our 2023, 2024 reels, you'll see a lot of more informational reels. We don't do as much lately, which I probably should, but because
We're going to get back to that.
Because I've been pretty busy doing the vlogs and more cinematic content. But yeah, a lot of the education as a strength coach that I have is strictly through editing.
Which is good. And also, I think you've also coached in the gym for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the best way to learn and become a strength coach is to just do it and get as many. I tell our interns that all the time. You need to get as many feedback loops in as possible and as quickly as possible. And so like when an intern is like hesitant to go cue an athlete, they're like, I could see them like, should I say it? Should I not say it? I tell them, just go say it. Just go say the cue. See what happens. If it works, great. You know that you get one positive feedback loop. If you don't, great. Because then you know, okay, maybe I should say this cue instead. Maybe I should do that cue instead. At least you get a feedback loop of this worked or this didn't. And that's how you become good at anything really fast, is you just try to get in as many feedback loops as possible.
That's literally with it. It's not just coaching. Same with my video editing. 2024, my goal was to make 5 reels a week, and I think I actually went over that. I think I was averaging about 5.5 technically posts a week on Instagram. But when you just do the reps, you start looking back at it and you're like, huh, okay, that could have been better. And then you fix that. And then next time you don't run into that problem. And then you constantly just, all that overlaps, and then you end up just getting better.
What's the biggest lesson that you learned from editing all those reels? For like aspiring content creators, what's the one thing that you learned from that entire process?
Well, so I've gotten actually a lot of questions of like, hey, how can I start video editing and getting, really good at it? And I think who was it, Hormozy says this,
Yeah.
Alex, but basically just make 100 reels or videos or whatever content that you want, and then Hormozy says two things will happen. You'll either not come back because you figured it out, or you won't come back because you quit. And I really think that's
Yeah.
true, because when you just do that many reps, you end up figuring it out yourself anyways. So I think you just have to, it doesn't like matter what you think about your content. You just have to
Just do it.
push. Yeah, just do it. It doesn't, it literally, like it could be, and people have also asked me like, where do you get all the ideas? I think a lot of content creators are as Gox calls it, thieves. And all my content is just copied. I don't know if that's a good thing to say, but it's copied. The idea is copied, and then I put my own twist into it. So I do think you do have to have your own artful taste, your style. But a lot of my content is just inspired from other people, and I just turn that into my own version.
But you're just copying formatting. Like I want to say this here and then say that here, and you're copying like, because I've seen you do it. You copy like, this is how the intro is gonna look, and then the transition happens like this, and it swipes up like that, and then it fades like this, and that you're copying that. But the storyline of everything
is
you're making up.
yeah, let's just say that. I mean, like even the Road to LA series, I'm literally just copying Drive to Survive on F1 Netflix.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they document the people during the season, and then all the behind the scenes, and they get it up. And I watched them. I was like, oh, what if I just do that for swimming?
I think we should talk about Road to LA.
Okay.
How, because we have a lot of people that watch it, and we have a lot of people that come up to us at meets now and say they watched the Road to LA series. How did it start? And then what is your goal with Road to LA heading into? Because we just finished season 1. What's your goal with Road to LA season 2?
Well, it started because we started a pro group, right? And then day one was literally just Calvin and Marina at practice. And then I think you told me, let's just vlog it, right? And then I vlogged it. And then when I was editing it, I was thinking, okay, I don't want to just throw up a random training vlog. And I'm always about having some kind of story and some kind of thing that someone can follow. That's another thing with content, is I think you should have some sort of story. Like, how is this person going to change at the end, right? I always try to think about that. So I was like, okay, well, what if we just try, like, okay, these guys are going to go for LA Olympics. What if we do like documenting their journey to the LA Olympics? It's going to be a big project, but let's just give it a try. And then it gained some traction from there. And then I think I decided to make it seasons, like halfway through season 1.
Yeah.
Technically.
Because I think we were just calling it whatever, and then we added season 1 like after like episode 4 or something.
Yeah, but we decided that because our team got a little bit bigger and there's more things to follow. But yeah, ultimately I started because I wanted something that people can follow, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just put up random training content, no one's going to watch it, but they can now follow the journey and the story, and I think it makes it more interesting. And another thing is I kind of wanted to change swimming content, because swimming content I find online, I don't want to step on any toes here, but basically...
But it sucks.
It doesn't suck. Here's the thing. I think swimming content online, it's all about, oh, let's make it fun. It's a little goofy.
Dorky.
It's a little dorky. And that's completely okay if a swimmer's watching it, right? I think swimming should be fun. But then swimming's not a popular sport, when an outsider comes in and all our top content creators are a little bit on the dorkier, cornier side, I think it's hard for people to get sucked into the sport as an outsider. From within the swim community, I think it's great. You need that, right? You need the dorky, fun people in content
Yeah.
creation. But I found a hole where there's no one. There's a couple like the Whiffen twins. Matthew Richards has a whole production team behind him. And I think it's Matt Richards. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's, yeah.
it is.
But I found a hole where that no one's making like more serious, dramatic, cinematic style videos.
Yeah.
So I just found a hole, and then I'm trying to
And
fill into
hopefully,
that.
and part of our goal is like to help our pro swimmers like make a living,
That's
get
also, yeah.
brand deals. Because me personally, like selfishly as a coach, like I don't want Calvin to work.
Yeah,
I don't want
agree.
him to have a W-2 job, going to work every day, sitting at a desk for 8 hours, because I think that's messes with his performance. I want him to quit his job. I've been asking him to quit his job, but he can't because he has to financially support himself.
And
And
then,
hopefully this kind of helps gain traction to get more brand deals or help launch his personal brand or whatever.
yeah, a lot of the reason why I'm doing this is I want our pros to get monetized somehow. So if people watch our series and then they can get like sponsors, perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I think now we live in a world where like you don't have to be Michael Phelps to, get the
Make money.
multi-million dollar Speedo contract. I think because attention is the number one asset right now, like as long as you can get eyeballs, because obviously there's like the running space is huge now, and these runners who are not Olympic runners, who are not Kipchoge, are getting running deals because of content.
Like look at BPN, they're doing an amazing job.
Right, and it's not like
Baer,
Nick Bear is like I mean he's fast, but he's not like world class fast.
Yeah.
But they do a good job because they're
because they have a story that
Content
people can
production,
follow. Yeah. That's why I kind of made this. And then moving into answering your second question, moving into season 2 is going to be a little bit shorter, but this one I think it's hard because I need to make all this stuff up as we go because I don't know how it's going to turn out, right?
yeah.
But I think season 2 is going to be more about because we don't have a big meet at the end, so I think it's going to be more
Yeah, we
about it's U.S. Open, but I'm not
Yeah.
it's not like World Championships.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have that big one at the end, but I think this will be more about just team and training and a little bit more educational. But I don't know yet.
Yeah, and I think we can get to know each athlete a little bit more in this season too.
Yeah, there's a
And
better
find their
roadmap.
individual stories.
Yeah.
When I was in Singapore, I was talking to Herbie about this, and because he mentioned Drive to Survive too.
Herbie's the ASU head coach.
Yeah, Herbie Bame. Herbie was saying like, if like we just guess who the top 8 in every event's gonna be or whatever, and then you follow that top 8, like 12 weeks before Worlds, you follow their story every single week, and then by the time Worlds gets around, you're gonna be very curious to what that person's time is gonna be, what they're gonna place, because oh, they went through this shoulder injury, and then they went through that, and then their car broke down, and then they still had to go to practice, and they went through the adversity, and they still made it to the top 8. Sorry. So I think the storytelling aspect is super important because it makes you curious to what the end result is going to be. But if you just have 8 guys or 8 women race and then you just display their time, it doesn't mean anything.
That's also another thing is I think why swimming isn't as popular is because you have no idea who these guys are. You have no like who is
Yeah.
who are they, right? Like you don't know their personality, you don't know what they went through. So I think giving some context can allow more of an emotional attachment to the sport because I think a lot of other sports do a good job at bringing the emotional attachment. I know swimming is completely different. It's a little more boring. I get that. But just to raise the bar a little bit, I think you need to add some emotional attachment to the
I
sport.
think that's what Dana White did really well with the UFC and the what was that reality TV show that the UFC did?
Unleashed?
UFC, no, not Unleashed, where they would live in the house.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what it's called.
But basically, UFC did a really good job of telling because before UFC used to be something where it was like
Small.
almost taboo. And it's like, what? They're like cage fighting. What are they doing?
In the 90s, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
Yeah.
And Dana White did a good job of telling the story behind each fighter And now they do it with their UFC embedded before every single main pay-per-view. They vlog them. So I think telling the story of the athlete is the way to make the sport more popular. I talked about this in the Swim podcast, but people always complain about, oh, swimming, like we don't make enough money, and people like always bitch and moan about like swimmers not making enough money. But the harsh reality is swimming is just not that valuable. Like you can say, oh, these swimmers work so hard and they make no money. Yeah, so does the janitor at this elementary school. He probably works really hard, but he doesn't make money because why? The market decided that janitorial services are not that important. The market, two business mantras I try to live by is the market decides what's valuable and that money flows to value. So if you're not making enough money, it's just a reality check of whatever you're doing is not that valuable. We don't get big paychecks from YouTube for our series, and I just take it as it's just not that valuable yet, and that's okay. And if we can start with that reality and then figure out, okay, how do I make it valuable and answer that question, that's when you can start, monetizing the sport and growing the sport, not just by, oh, these swimmers need to make more money. They work so hard. Yeah, but it's not valuable to it. Like people won't pay for it.
I mean, yeah, swimming is honestly pretty boring.
But it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Which, speaking of which, can we go over my?
Yeah.
I guess this will be my official announcement of this.
Okay.
I've never, but this is I had when I'm just thinking, I get these random ideas, and I came up with this thing called S1 Grand Prix. It's literally a thought experiment. I don't think it'll. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a reality. I don't know, but
Maybe someone will listen to this and want to host it.
maybe if it's a way that I think swimming could become a little popular. So I call it S1 Grand Prix. Each team will only get 6 swimmers. Okay, so you have to choose your 6 swimmers wisely. Each team may put a maximum of 2 swimmers per event. So you can opt in to do 1 swimmer per event or none, depending on your strategy. And then here are all the following events. You get 25s of each stroke, 50s of each stroke, 100s of each stroke, and then a 200 free, and then 100 IM. You also get a 2x50 relay, a 2x100 relay, and then the 4x50, 4x100 relay.
This is all in one day?
Yeah, just listen. You also get a 2x25, and then there's also a 6x50 relay, and then there's also 800 relay with 4 swimmers broken up however you want. Okay. But you said all this in one day? Not quite. At each Grand Prix, there will be 6 randomly chosen events of these. Okay. So you don't know which 6 random events will get chosen. Each team will get notified which 6 events on the day of, and then you get 15 minutes to strategize what you want to do with your swimmers. So you can choose where, if you want to put 2 per event, if you want to, up to you. It's a 2-day meet. First day is qualification. So we run it through, and then only 8 swimmers advance. And then the finals, it's just a final heat. And this is a little controversial, but you can bet.
That's not controversial.
You don't think so? I think a lot of, it's gambling to do. I don't know. But that's the controversial take is you can bet on the finals. I guess you can technically bet in the qualifications too. Each team is allowed a support staff of 5 people. And then recovery and preparations will be done in team corners where the spectators can see how each team PT can.
How did you come up with 5?
This is all just a thought experiment. This is just random numbers.
Okay.
But 5 because I was thinking of our team. You have you, the coach. You have Kenta, an assistant. You have Dr. Josh. And then you have myself as a media or whatever you want me to use. And then just another person. So that's how I came up with 5. Again, this is all just kind of random. And then coaches may call 1 audible to switch out a swimmer or do whatever you want in the final. So
kind of like football, you get one challenge play.
Yeah, and then another way to monetize is you hype up the teams and stuff like that, right? But you also have merch of swimmers. Like I always thought,
Like the jerseys that you were talking about.
yeah, I always thought like Calvin, right, on our team, his last name is so cool, Justice. Imagine you have a Justice T-shirt, right?
And his number.
Or yeah, his number or whatever. Or like even Santo's name is awesome, Condorelli.
Yeah.
I love Marina's last name, Spadoni, right? Like I feel like
Man,
if you
we have a
can,
boring last name.
I think if you can create a story around the people, then people want to buy, and people have this connection with you. They might want to buy your merch. I don't know. Again, this is
And
all
then
just
the
a thought
revenue
experiment.
goes back to every single athlete, so the athlete is incentivized to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see.
So that's my idea of S1 Grand Prix. Again, this is just a random thought experiment I put up. There's obviously a lot of changes that can be made, but something along the lines of that, where betting's allowed, where team rivalries are allowed.
We don't have enough women on our team, but I would put our men up against anyone in the world
I'm confident we can win against any other men's team in the world.
event. Maybe if your team, you feel like you have 6 dudes who can beat us, call us out, and we'll set a time and place.
Wait,
and we'll try to make
do we
it
have
happen.
6 dudes? Calvin, Santo,
Nico,
Lincoln,
Santi.
Santi. I don't count as a 6, so I'm not gonna
Caleb.
throw Caleb in there. But that's just my idea of making swim fun. But
Yeah.
so if you want to go against us, let us know.
Well, yeah, I think I think we've been doing this for almost an hour.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to wrap up. It was a good practice run. Hopefully we figure out how to upload this. Let us know what you guys thought about the podcast. Let us know who you want on the podcast, what questions you want answered. For us, this is going to be a living recording of our own improvement into this thing. So hopefully you guys see the evolution of this as we go along. And I always think that's also interesting for the viewer to see the evolution of a business or product or service and the iterations that it goes through. Because I have followers who've been following me since the garage days in 2019, and then I'll get DMs like, "Oh, so cool to see the whole evolution of everything." So if you're watching this, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll be watching.
Wait, hold up. Sorry. I just thought about this. I don't know if we'll move forward with this, but maybe to make it more interactive for the podcast, any questions dropped into our YouTube comments, we'll pick a couple and then we can answer it in the next podcast in the opening or something, just like 2 or 3. I don't know.
Sure.
But, so like if you do have any questions that you want answered, we'll try to answer as many as we can.
Drop them below.
And then we'll answer it in the next podcast in the opening.
But any question that starts with, "What's the best exercise for?" I will not answer it.
Yeah, like good questions. We'll pick like 1 or 2 or whatever, and then yeah.
Hopefully our brand is so strong we can start eradicating that question, and people will like
Sure.
vibe with like, okay, you're not supposed to ask that. There's not an answer.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Moving forward, again, I'll be in the back, making sure all this runs smooth, and Sean will be hosting. So hope you guys enjoyed that first time.
See you in episode 2. Bye.